Welcome back everyone. As you can see, I'm standing next to Brad Pitt's very own Sherman tank here, Fury, and today we're going to show you the battle that they have at the Tank Museum during their Tankfest event. So let's just go over how they do things at the Tank Museum first, whilst you look at these vehicles move in. We've got a nice armoured car, a Hetzer, a German half-track and an Opel truck with a Pack 36, I believe, being pulled behind it. But basically at the Tank Museum, that's not like when you go to a lot of the big shows and they have like tons of stuff running around, loads of people firing just loads and loads of blanks and making a lot of noise. At the Tank Museum they do things much slower. So like you can see here, you've got the little convoy of German vehicles just very calmly coming on. And everything there is slowly done, time's been taken, you've got the commentator explaining to the public what's going on. So it's not really like a proper mock battle, it's more of a very drawn out demonstration or like representation of what can happen. So in this scenario, the German convoys then arrive there, and what they're now doing is setting up an anti-tank gun so that it can sit in overwatch when the Allies arrive. So you can see now that the reenactor group has set up their Pack 36. The little Opel truck's just going to go and turn around and then set up, and then that represents the gun sitting and waiting in ambush. So now that the gun's set up, we've got a Dingo and a Daimler armoured car coming, and this is meant to represent like a small British reconnaissance unit. These are really smart, these little Dingoes, because they can just fly backwards and forwards as fast as they want. They're brilliant little things. And there you see you've got the armoured car. I won't run on too much whilst I'm letting you see the vehicles drive about. I'll just briefly know what they're trying to do, because this takes a long time, this battle, and I've kind of snipped it down because there's a lot of just nothing moving, and the commentator basically explains to the public. Still a serious predicament if you're dealing with enemy armoured cars. So now that the public has had explained to them what the vehicles are, they'll now move off, and this is meant to be them like doing the search of the area. Obviously you can't realistically represent this stuff, so that's all, you have to use your imagination quite a lot here. I really do like these Daimler armoured cars, they're smart little things. For those of you that are not quite rich enough to own a tank, you might be able to find an armoured car. And there you go, that's meant to be the pack gun basically firing and missing and doing a failed ambush. So now that the pack gun has failed at the one job it had, they're going to hook it back up to the Opel lorry, and that's going to make a hasty retreat. And when I say hasty, I mean in their own time. It's a pain in the bum to link these things up and then get them rolling. And here she comes. So this is an old Opel truck, old German Opel trucks. These are quite cool, they're not very common. So it's nice to see him actually have one out with the gun attached to it and everything. Just a smart piece of kit, not jealous at all. Right, so now the pack gun's retreated, the armoured car comes forward, and this is meant to be like a reactionary sort of thing. So the gun's failed, now the armoured car's coming up to see what comes forwards. And then the Americans arrive with their reconnaissance unit. So we've got a nice M8 Greyhound here and a Jeep. So this is meant to represent like the American equivalent of the Dingo and the Daimler car. And they're followed up by a Chaffee, as you can see there. So what the manoeuvring is here is the armoured car, the German armoured car, meant to be like going forwards and then spotting the response from the Allies. And then after the tank has engaged and damaged the car, which is a bit questionable, that then makes a retreat back. Revving all the engine out, that's meant to represent it being damaged, that's just how they do it. And so the Hetzer comes forward to engage the now heavier Allied units, and that is supported by an armoured car with some Panzer Grenadiers in the back of it. So here you see the Panzer Grenadiers arrive and they're going to dismount and cover the Hetzer. That is a particularly nice looking half-track there, I have to say. And there you go, that's just the blank being used in the Hetzer to represent an engaging a Chaffee. And here we have Brad Pitt. He has arrived in Fury to save the day. So the Panzergrenadier infantry are immediately going to fall back at the sight of it. So I'll just let you have a look at Fury. I know I've taken the mick out of the film and everything, but it really is a nice looking Sherman, and they use it all the time at the Tank Museum. That definitely earns its wages. So you have Fury being followed by an armoured car, setting up into position to engage the German forces. And the Jeep flies forwards. This is supposedly a bazooka team that's going forward to do reconnaissance to get in position. And here I want to pay attention to this guy. He's the hero of the day, I think. This is our bar gunner for the day. And when all of them have arrived, we've got the infantry out, and now we've got a Hellcat coming in on the other side. So that's our armoured support. We've got Fury, a Chaffee and a Hellcat. These are really nice machines. You got often get to see Hellcats, there ain't that many of them about. And of course our little hero with the BAR there is having loads of fun trying to fire it on blanks, which doesn't seem to like very much. So here we have the Jeep team falling back after failing to do their job. Jeep's getting some nice use. We've got all the simulated explosions and stuff. Like I say, they don't go too over the top of the Tank Museum. I feel a bit sorry for this guy. I think his lungs definitely took a beating during this fight. So now the infantry are just moving up under support of the armour to go and engage what's left of the German forces. And you can see what I mean by, at the museum they have to leave a lot to the imagination, because they've really got so much they can do. They're trying to do it as an educational thing more than a showy thing. So that's all done nice and slowly and explained to the public. There you go, we've got Fury moving out for you. And now it's just basically a case of the Allies moving forwards to mop up what German units are left. So you've got the Hellcat and the armoured car in the background going forward. Really nice looking vehicles. That's a very nice Hellcat. And our Jeep heroes move forwards to join the rest of the infantry. And the Chaffee also progresses forwards. This Chaffee is particularly nice because they really do set about it to this. They have it going at quite high speed around the arena sometimes. They spin the turret around and everything, and they're really having a good time. So it's nice to see the vehicles not just crawling around. But now the infantry are just basically pushing in and doing the last mop-ups. And this is pretty much the end of the scenario. Now in reality this took a lot longer to happen, but I couldn't see the point in you guys just being bored out of your mind watching that. So now that's all basically over. The British turn back up because obviously we're known for letting the Americans do all the fighting and then turning up afterwards and claiming we did something. So that's representing that part of history. And you get a closer look at the Dingo and the armoured car. And not to feel left out, here comes the GMC CCKW, towing its anti-tank gun. Again, not at all jealous. I will have one day, I promise. And that goes off to join the rest of the forces. One of the most prolific vehicles produced by the Americans in World War II. Not quite as big as the Jeep, but very nearly, but the second most produced military vehicle
does indicate they're going to be soldiers being marched away into that committee. It does indicate the enormous industrial.
So basically that's it. That's the Tank Museum's little demonstration they do of like a small German unit near the end of the war being engaged by basically what at the time superior Allied forces. So now they just parade off at the end. That's meant to be like the Allies taking the prisoners back. So that's essentially the scenario, really. But I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Again, it's difficult because it takes so long for this to happen in reality because they explain every little thing to the public. So it takes so long to do it that I didn't want you to have to sit and watch the whole thing because that would just bore you out your mind. Off goes the Greyhound, another vehicle I'd particularly like to own. I'm not sure quite how they would squeeze the Hetzer into there, but there you go. So you just get a nice little convoy of all the vehicles leaving the arena after the battle, and here comes the Chaffee again. Really nice little tanks. They get a bad lot, I think the Chaffies do, but I think they're really nice little vehicles.
It's ironic, really, this is almost a democratic vehicle the German army during World War II. And yet there were so few of them actually in production in use.
But as the half track comes round to go back to the parking lot, and very nice example we've got here again, thanks to all the people that bring their vehicles to Tankfest. That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon.